So we're going to go ahead and begin. Um, Magnus, you were asking about like kind of how the game will run. Um, Basically, um, every all of the mechanical crunch of this game is broken down into what the system refers to as moves. You will see the basic moves that affect every playable character, player character on the roll 20: hack and slash, defy danger, volley, parlay, defend, etc., etc. Um, every move has a trigger, something that happens in the fiction to begin to trigger that move's mechanical resolution. Um, so, for example, for hack and slash, when you attack an enemy in melee, the book further specifies that this is specifically an enemy that is aware of you and fighting back. If you are hitting somebody who doesn't know about you, you just deal your damage or take them out or whatever as appropriate. Um, so when you attack an enemy in melee, then you do what the move says. Um, you know, in order to, um, as we're playing, I don't want you guys as players to, I don't want you to tell me I hack and slash the orc. You know, um, you're gonna tell me, I lift up my sword and swing at the orc's head or something like that, and I'm gonna say, okay, so it sounds like you're trying to do hack and slash, roll plus strength, and then we'll go through it like that. Um, uh, I'm gonna say something like, the goblet, the goblin archers loose arrows at the party. What do you do? And you might say, I try and hide behind my shield and block it away. And I'd say, roll plus con to define danger. Or you might say, I try and dodge. It would be plus dex, um, and so on and so forth. Whenever you roll, um, it's always the same breakdown. A 10 plus, you do it with basically no complication. You do the thing. If it's a 10 or higher. If it's 7 to 9, it's you do it. It's basically a success, but there's some sort of cost. The most straightforward one to that is when you are fighting an enemy and you hack and slash and you get a 7 to 9, you hurt them, but they also hurt you. Um, or if you're shooting a bow, you hurt them, but you might also start using up your limited ammunition. Or you don't have a good shot, so you do less damage. Or you have to move into a dangerous position to take the shot. Something like that. Or if it's, avoiding being crushed, maybe you avoid being crushed, but you leave something behind. Or some resource gets used up. As a GM, I will never roll dice in this game. That isn't to say I don't have rules. I have my own sheet of rules and principles and agendas, which I am bound by. It's just that my rules don't happen to involve dice.
That's fair.
And yeah, so it might be a little bit weird for you guys, but I think you'll like it. I hope you will. So yes. So we open. The camera pans over a tavern. The tavern is inflamed. We see within the burning building are three heroes: Magnus the Red, Thorn the Halfling Druid, and Emberlash the scarred up salamander. Back to back, Magnus and Thorn have weapons drawn. Emberlash has her hands ready to weave her magic, and the camera pans around our three heroes back to back, ready for a fight, and we see they are not alone in this burning tavern. There are dark shapes moving on the edge of our line of sight. Magnus, whose fault is this?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear that last part.
I said, Magnus, whose fault is this?
The heretics!
Indeed. Heretics have cornered you, Magnus, and your companions. The inn is inflamed. Someone outside, an old enemy, has found you again. Who or what are they?
Why? It must be. Fuck. What are they called? Hold on.
Don't say.
No, I'm not. I'm not. They're just related to the Tyranids, but we don't have to involve actual Tyranids. Just let me have this. They're called Gene Stealers. Why? It must be the Gene Stealers. They're crazed cultists that try to try. You know what they are. Okay.
Not clearly, but
The only thing you need to know is that they're cultists and they spread by infecting other people with their madness.
Okay. Yes. So.
Oh, that explains Magnus.
Yeah. So we have cultists are burning the tavern. They're after Magnus. We hear a woman's scream on the from the second story. Cultists become visible on the edge of the scene, each holding different crude and vicious weapons, spiked chains, sickles and farming equipment honed into lethal with lethal intent. In robes, with faces twisted with madness. Magnus, what do you do?
Well, we fight them.
Okay. How do you go about how does Magnus go about this? He's surrounded by enemies on all sides.
I draw my sword and swing.
So Magnus charges forward into the at the nearest cultists, sword raised high. The cultist brings his improvised polearm made from a farming hoe, which has been sharpened into with deadly intent to defend himself. Magnus, you're gonna roll for hack and slash.
All right, I have just the thing for this.
Mm-hmm.
I have a D20 calculator. It'll let me do any roll.
I would like you to go ahead and roll it in the Roll20.
That's fair. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
That way I can't. Be. I wouldn't try to trick you, but
I believe that you wouldn't, but just so we can all see the roll at the same time.
Totally get it. All right. So what kind of dice roll is this?
Okay, so you're gonna roll 2d6, and you're going
Alright.
to add your strength modifier. So for you, that's 2d6 plus 2. 10. Unmitigated success.
All right.
So on a 10 plus, you deal your damage to the enemy and avoid their attack. However, you have a choice. You may choose to do an additional 1d6 damage in exchange for being exposed to an attack in return.
Well,
Um,
Magnus was never one for subtlety, so there's no other option besides doing another attack.
Okay, so you're gonna roll your normal damage die, which is determined by your class,
Okay.
and that's a 10 as a paladin. You have a 10 for a damage die. Your longsword, yeah, a d10. Your longsword gives you plus 1 damage, so it's a d10 plus 1 is what you normally roll. Because you're accepting that option, you're getting an additional 1d6. So roll a d10 plus a d6 plus 1.
Okay, so wait, how do I write this out? 1d10 plus 1d6?
You can combine dice like that. So if you do /r 1d10 plus 1d6 plus 1, it'll work.
So 1d10 plus 1d6 plus 1.
Yeah, and you can see it has the little breakdown there for you, and a total of 14 damage, which is a absolutely massive amount of damage. So
I rip them apart. I scream as I do so.
yeah, so Magnus runs forward screaming, and you just cleave the first cultist in half, and there is a spray of blood into the flames as he lets out a Wilhelm scream and falls over into the flames away from the camera. And then we twist over, and Thorn, Emberlash, there are a number of cultists surrounding you, and they're approaching with their deadly weapons. Emberlash, what is it that you do?
I think I'm gonna fight fire with fire. I mean, I have fire all around me, so I'm going to direct the fire directly at them and make them burn.
Okay, so you're going to you want to use bend a flame to your will?
I think that sounds great.
Okay, so you're gonna roll plus your wisdom modifier.
Okay, I'll
so-
do that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Character sheet is down here.
I know, where's the
So
roller?
your wisdom modifier. You got a 9 in wisdom, so no modifier.
Right. So you're gonna want to write /r, and then a space, and then 2d6.
Space.
An enter?
Enter.
Okay, a 9. So on a 10 plus, it does as you command, taking the shape and movement you desire for as long as it has fuel on which to burn. On 7 to 9, the effect is short-lived, lasting only a moment, but that is enough for this case. So Emberlash, you bend the flames, and the fire that was around them you bring in front of you, sending a wall of flame protecting you from the cultists who are approaching you, and burning their robes and causing them to flee to a safer position to make their attack. Thorn, from the third direction, Thorn, 2 cultists are closing in.
How are these guys
How are they armored, do you say?
Yeah, how are these guys armored?
As far as you can tell, they're just wearing black robes. Some of them have masks, but not all. so they are very lightly armored, and their weapons seem improvised.
Okay, that seems absolutely perfect. I'm going to shapeshift into a lion and pounce on the nearest one and attempt to start to tear him apart.
All right. So first off, when you call on the spirits to change your shape, roll plus wisdom.
Okay, let's see. So roll 2d6 plus 2. 11.
11. Okay. So you gain 3 hold. I will say that as a lion, you have two special moves. One of which is relevant here, which would be pounce. And your other one will say is like stalk through tall grass. Which is not relevant here, but maybe in the future.
Right on.
So yeah. So what does it look like when Thorn shapeshifts?
That's a good question.
A bird.
Well, it would make sense to look like a bird when I'm turning it blind.
A pheasant.
Form a bucket of water.
I would say, has everybody seen Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, McGonagall. When she shifts from a cat back into her form, it's just subtle, quick, just a shift, and then that's me. So it's almost as if
Mm-hmm.
it could potentially surprise someone if they weren't expecting.
Cool. So
Nothing flashy, no big growl or yell or anything. Just a shift, and then I go into my thing.
right, and you've shaped into a lion, and your tell carries with you. So you're a lion with antelope horns now.
Yep.
So I think Thorn like takes one step closer to the nearest cultist, and he just like flows like water into lion form, and then pounces on the onto the cultist, knocking him down, and now you're on top of him, pinning him to the ground. What do you do?
Oh, I bite, claw, basically I bite at his head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or neck, whatever seems exposed and potentially vulnerable to do some damage.
Cool. Go ahead and roll plus your strength to hack and slash.
Okay, so that'll be so the same 2d6
Mm-hmm.
plus strength, which is nothing. Okay.
9. All right. So yeah, you by pouncing on him, you caused him to drop his weapon. But as you've leapt onto him and are and start biting at his exposed face, he's trying to get you off. He's punching and like clawing with his fingers and screaming as this lion is mauling him. And you're gonna take a D4 damage from his sort of pathetic flailing. So roll a D4 to see how much damage you take.
4.
Oh
4.
my god.
All right.
4 whole damage.
Yeah. So 4. You'll subtract 1 from your hide armor. So you're gonna take 3 damage.
Okay.
And I want you to go ahead and roll your damage die to see how badly you savage this guy. Which for the druid, your damage die is a D6.
So just 1d6?
Yes. Okay.
6.
So yeah, you start shaking him by the head as he's punching you and like maybe getting in your ribs and trying to get you off of him. and you just shake him and snap. There goes the neck, and he falls limp in your grip.
Yay.
But while you're savaging this one guy, the one next to him has come around, and he's bringing down an axe at Thorn. Magnus, you turn, having slaughtered your the one in front of you, and you see Thorn is about to be axed. What do you do?
Don't ask me, bro.
Let's see. Keep your filthy blade off my companion. And then I tried to block the blow.
Excellent. Yes. Okay. So, when you stand in defense of a person, item, or location under attack, roll plus Constitution.
Alrighty. My Constitution is. So that's the one, right?
Yeah, that would be the modifier.
Okay.
Which for you is a 1.
So it's a 1d6 plus 1?
A 2d6.
2d6 plus 1.
Okay, so that's a 5. That means you get to mark an experience point. First bit of experience of the game. Congratulations, Magnus, you are now the closest to level 2.
Hooray!
Yes.
Well, nobody else has any XP.
Yeah. Yes.
How good I am.
So okay.
I'm really good at this game, you guys.
So yes, every time you fail on a roll in Dungeon World, you gain XP. This is probably the primary way that XP is acquired, at least in my experience.
Every time you fail on a roll?
It seems to happen.
Okay.
But so when you fail a roll, basically what that means is that the GM gets to basically tell you what happens, and it's usually not good for you. So in this case, Magnus, you run up and you go run up in there, and you bring your sword and you parry the blow, and you do defend Thorn. But
Okay.
as you do so, the wood beams begin to crack, and there's a collapse on the front part of the inn. A ceiling beam has collapsed and has blocked the front door. Everyone is now trapped inside.
Oh shoot! So we're in a burning building.
Oh well, too bad for y'all.
We will cut our way out.
Yes.
Emberlash, Magnus and one of the cultists are now engaged in melee combat. Meanwhile, the two other cultists who you burned and forced back are trying to get around to surround the party from a different angle. What is Emberlash planning to do?
I am going to conjure a weapon of pure flame and attack them.
Okay, so first off, roll plus your Constitution, mod, which is your +1.
Okay, what do I do again?
So you're gonna roll
Remember,
2d6 plus 1.
Remember your character sheet's down here, so you can switch to that.
Okay.
Just check your Constitution, which your modifiers is a 15, is going to be a +1, and then you roll 2d6 plus. You need the /. You need You need /R space. No. /first. Yes. R space 2d6 plus 1. Not double D. They're not that big.
Shut your mouth.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh.
I just suck.
uh, okay, so you a 6. You gain an experience point.
Yay.
So go ahead and mark that down. You have 1 XP. Let me make sure this doesn't have a specific failure condition. Okay. It does not. So Emberlash is you're trying to focus the flames into a pure weapon. But as you're doing so, the fire, there's ironically too much fire. The spirits of the flame are too excited, and they won't listen to you very much in here. They're having a party, and they don't want to go to work right now.
They don't want to go to work.
And as you're trying to conjure your weapon, you're like, okay, now, and
No.
and without a weapon to defend you, the cultists come around, and one of them whacks you in the leg with a brutal club and knocks you onto your tail. The two of them raise weapons and are about to drive down at you. You're on your back. You don't have a weapon. Thorn, you see that she's in big trouble. What do you do?
Okay, she just got 1 on her.
2. She's got 2 on her.
She's got 2 on her.
And she's on her back.
See, I basically only have 1 action, but
I mean, if you can describe something that can deal with both of them, you can deal with both of them.
right. I mean, I definitely want to get their attention. So at first, I let out, a fierce roar,
Mm-hmm.
which a lion roaring should get anybody's attention, even if they're in a burning building.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would frighten me.
And then I come rushing at them.
Okay.
And let's see if I still have enough to. If I can get their attention, great. And I attempt to take a swipe at them. If not, then I'll probably have to pounce on them again.
Okay. So, let's deal with that first thing first. So you let out a great lion roar, and in order to distract these two guys, I think that you are defying danger here with charisma as sort of like a way of intimidating them. Or shocking them with your lion roar. So give me a roll with charisma.
How much charisma does a lion have?
It doesn't matter. You use your charisma when you're
My charisma's bad. All right. That's a 6.
All right. The weapon.
Oh my god.
So the
comes off like Simba. Meow meow.
at the same moment as you're trying to roar, another bit of ceiling from the second floor collapses. We hear a scream from the second floor again, and they bring their weapons down on Emberlash. Emberlash, take 2d6 damage.
Emberlash explodes into
Holy
gore.
crap!
Oh,
Roll
and,
2d6.
And mark your XP, Thorn, if you hadn't.
Okay, what do I do?
Roll 2d6.
Mm-hmm.
So go back to Firefox, yeah. And slash R 2d6.
And then plus anything?
Not yet. 2d6. And you need to put a space between the R and the 2d6. You'll get it. No, not a space before the R, a space after the R. If it's easier, /roll space 2d6. There you go.
Okay. So, good news. Since you rolled 7 damage there, when you take, as a immolator, you have the special move, fighting fire with fire. When you take damage, and that damage is odd, the flames within you come to your aid. Roll 1d4, and you get some choices about what to do with that.
1d4. There you go.
Okay, 3. So, you may, so you have a few options with what to do with that 3. If you had your burning brand, your weapon of pure flame, if you had that out, you could add that many uses to it. It's not out right now, so that's not an option. You can take that result forward to summon your burning brand. That means that you would get a +3 on the next roll to conjure your weapon. Or you can reduce the damage you took by that amount. So basically your choices here are +3 to conjure next time you try to conjure your weapon. Or,
Let's go with that.
Okay. So go ahead and mark off 7 hit points. But the rest of you see, like, as they bring their
12.
weapons down at Emberlash, she sparks and flames erupt from her body, which seem to somehow protect her from the worst of the damage. Her smoldering eyes begin to burn quite literally as she's ready to conjure her brand. Emberlash, you're on the ground. There are enemies above you. You're hurting, and you're filled with fire. What do you do?
Damn girl, you on fire.
I'm on fire. Sorry. I conjure my weapon,
Okay.
or of pure flame,
Yep, you can do that.
and I swipe at the legs of the people near me that are attacking me.
Cool. So first things first, we got to make that roll to conjure the weapon. You'll have +3 forward from your previous move. So you'll have a total modifier of +4.
Plus con, so +1. So 3's talking about the extra. So 2d6 +4.
Okay, you've gone off the top of the chart. The weapon. So you've conjured a weapon. It's fiery. It has the tags fiery, touch, and dangerous. You get to choose 3 of those additional tags. There. Which your options are hand, which will change it from by default it's got touch reach, so it's like flames surrounding your hand. If you if you select the hand tag, that will change it to be more like a flaming sword. Thrown near would let you like throw flaming javelins or something like that. The oh, sorry. You get to choose two tags, not three. +1 damage is what it says on the tin. It's +1 damage, and or you can choose to remove the dangerous tag. The dangerous tag means that the weapon is somewhat uncontrollable and prone to me deciding that as like consequences of partial failures and stuff that, you know, it sets things on fire that you maybe wouldn't want to set things on fire.
So if you want the most control, you go dangerous, and then you pick one of the other ones.
Right. So since you got 10 plus, you get to choose 2 of those enhancements.
I guess remove the dangerous and what?
Well, it
Maybe
depends on what you're gonna do.
Mm-hmm. So like
the hand, because they're pretty close to me. They're
Okay.
on top of me.
Okay, yeah. So what does your what kind of hand weapon does your burning brand look like? Is it sort of sword like, or
Whip of fire.
or like a whip?
No, I mean like I don't know, almost like a sheath or not that. Anyway, a sword is good.
Okay, yeah. So you flip out your flaming sword, and you're gonna bring it around in a circle at the legs of the people surrounding you. So this is a hack and slash. You can roll plus strength. Your move gives you the option to roll with intelligence, but your strength is better.
Yeah, because your strength's plus 2.
Yeah. So you're gonna want to roll 2d6 plus your strength mod.
+2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh wow, you were on fire. I didn't.
God.
I'm on fire.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to pun.
Oh,
But yeah. So 13.
oh no, puns are 100% welcome here.
Yeah. So you spin around and you burn both of them in the leg. Go ahead and roll your damage. It's a D8.
Mhm. 1d8 or 2d8?
It's 1d8.
Okay, sorry. Grr. Okay. It's a 6.
6. Excellent. So your flaming sword burns both of them, cutting through the tendons and muscle in their legs, and they just collapse, screaming in pain. As
I look at
Just
them with no
lightsabered
mercy.
off their legs.
yeah, and you just like spin around and cut their legs. They fall over in a useless heap, and you stand up in the burning building. And
Nah, sacrifice them to the flames.
yeah, and you just call the as they're like rolling in agony. You just kind of call the flames of the building over and start, and they can't escape as they're just over as the flames wash over them like water. And
Your unwilling victim there.
yeah, and Magnus, as you were engaged in this duel with the axe wielding cultist, you hear a voice calling from outside. Magnus, you're not getting away this time.
Oh, warrior.
Oh God.
And you Magnus knows exactly who that is. But I don't, so tell me who it is.
It's Magus. Not Magnus, Magus. He's
Magus?
the leader. He's the leader of the most well-known Gene Stealer cult in 40K.
Mm.
So Magnus versus Magus.
I can't keep these two straight. Seriously.
Yes, we have to do it. You asked me.
Oh no, by all means, but just in terms of character philosophy, my character. Which one's the bad one again?
Which one is the bad one? I'll
They're
help
all
you.
bad.
So yes, you hear Magus, your old enemy,
This is
outside
what he looks like.
outside the tavern. Yes, and he is taunting you. But you were engaged in a sword versus axe duel with this other warrior, or not warrior, this cultist. So I gotta ask, what do you do?
Magnus. I'm gonna get those confused too. Magnus goes to quickly finish off the enemy by attempting to slice his head off and then charge towards the source of the sound.
Okay.
Oh, I'll be right back. I gotta step.
Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna need to make a hack and slash roll to dispatch this enemy.
Okay. Hack and slash.
Mm-hmm.
What is that again? Strength?
Yes, you're gonna roll plus strength.
And that's a 2d6?
2d6, yes. Okay, so 13. Yeah. You can you get the same choices you had before. You can roll your damage die and take no damage, or you can take an extra d6 and expose yourself to counterattack.
Extra d6.
Okay. So you're gonna roll a d10 plus a d6 plus 1 for the damage you
on.
deal.
So roll 1d10
Mm-hmm.
plus 1d6
Mm-hmm.
plus 2 or 1?
Plus 1 from your longsword.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he's definitely going to be dead, but before you get the finishing blow, Magnus, you go and you bring in, you make a big open swing. You expose your own side to the enemy in order to goad them into an attack to leave them open. You take a d6 of damage as they bring in their axe against your armor. So go ahead and take 2 damage, which I think is soaked by your armor.
Is it? That actually might be true, honestly. What
let's
is
see.
my armor again?
You start with scale armor, which is 2 armor. So
Okay, so there you
also you have a shield, which is another plus 1. So you actually have effective 3 armor when you have your shield up. So yeah, you let yourself be struck. He brings his axe down onto your shield, and the force of the blow goes through the shield into your arm. You feel it, but it does not injure you. And while he's trying to pull his axe back into position, you bring your sword around and cleave the head clear off of this cultist, and it rolls to the ground. And you turn to run towards the source of Magus's voice, and you find that he's on the outside. He's on the other side of the he's outside the tavern. But the entrance is blocked by this partially burning beam. You'll have to think of some way of dealing with that or finding another way out. Thorn, you look around. You see that the cultist situation is more or less taken care of. They're
still in a building that's on fire.
Yeah, the cultists are inside or dealt with. They're all bleeding or burning to death. and you hear a woman's voice crying from the upstairs. Help! Help! We're trapped up here.
Too bad.
And Magnus is trying to figure out how to get outside. What's Thorn doing?
Well, do I see any? Is there any potential path to the upstairs?
The stairs look clear enough that you could run up the stairs.
Okay, I still stay in my lion form, but then I go ahead and run up the stairs and see what I can see, what the situation is up there.
Okay, so you run up and you see one of the you run up the stairs and one of the doorways is blown open, and there's like a sea of flame between you, and you see a woman who you recognize as the innkeeper's wife, and she's holding a baby, and they're cornered by the flames, and they have no way out.
Oh, wonderful. Is there anything near them, like a window or anything that they could potentially be? Does it look like there's any way other than through the flames?
Potentially there is a window. There is a window that is within reach of them.
Okay. So I'm going to, first of all, attempt to pounce over and through the flame to get
Okay.
to them. And then as I get to them, expend the last of my hold and go ahead and turn back into my form
Okay.
and see what I can do to help them get out.
Okay. So Thorn leaps over. You'd mark off a hold for that, and then you return to your normal form. And the woman looks up, and she's confused and frightened, and she's gonna need guidance.
We need to
getting
go out the window.
Yeah. Okay. She's like pulling herself to her feet. You go over to the window.
Does it need to be broken to open it, or does it have any way to open?
It can
Or
open.
is it even glass? I don't know what the setting.
It's probably anachronistic for it to be glass, but it's glass.
Okay.
And you could open it. It'll be kind of a tight fit to get through it. It's fitting like not for you. For the woman, it would be quicker if you shattered it.
Okay. Then let's see what's going to be the easiest way to do this. Oh shit! Just break it. If I take some glass damage, I take some glass damage.
Okay. So you're just gonna hit the the frame and try and pop the.
I don't think I have anything except for spear.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense to me. Yeah. Go ahead and defy danger with strength. I think the danger here is the doing this quickly without either cutting your hand on glass or.
Right. So I got a 9.
9. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a a choice here. You can do that. But the only way that you can do it quickly is you're gonna have to take a little bit of damage from cutting your hand.
Not a big deal.
Okay, so go ahead and
Sure, let's do that.
go ahead and take a D4, D4 damage, and I'm gonna say that your armor doesn't really apply to this because
That's fair.
yeah,
It's willing.
yeah. So you lose two hit points as you smash out the glass and break through the little wooden structures, and your hand gets cut, but the way is clear, and you and the woman climb out onto the the slanted roof of the tavern. Magnus, Emberlash, both of you are on the first floor. Let's check in with Emberlash. Emberlash, you're surrounded by a beautiful flame, but also a house falling on you you're not immune to that. So what?
What about me?
Well, are there any windows towards the back of this building?
You haven't. Towards the back of the building is like behind the bar. So there's you know there's a back door that leads into another room. But as a customer, you probably haven't been back there. But there is a door, and that doorway is available to you.
As I go through the doorway and see if there's a way out besides going out the front, since Magus is out the front.
Mhm.
Magus.
Yeah. So
Magus. Magus and Magnus.
yes. So Emberlash, you just walk through the flames as a salamander. This is like walking across the bar normally. You walk through the flames and you get to the door. You throw it open, and there's a storeroom back here. But you can see the door that leads out behind the inn. You see a way out.
Yay.
Magnus, what are you doing?
He's trying to cut the door down with his sword, the beam down. Can you do that?
With his sword.
I assume no.
Well, it's okay. So Magnus is hacking at this roof supporting timber with his sword, and he'll get through it eventually. Before or not the roof collapses on him is yet to be seen.
Or that
Emberlash
could cause the roof to collapse on him.
Emberlash, you turn around to see where your companions are, and you see across the bar Magnus chopping at this wooden beam with his sword.
Frothing at the mouth in rage.
Yes. He's not going to get out that way. But you could bend the flame to your will to give him a path out this way.
I will bend the flame to my will to give him a path so that he can run out and escape out the back door through the storage room.
Hey, genius.
You're
Okay.
gonna have to get his attention first. He's pretty mad.
Yeah. Well, she can do it
Okay,
in
then
which.
I zap him with the flame. Hey, dummy. This way.
All right. I'll say you can do that all as part of
Bending the flame.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So
So roll
that's-
plus wisdom.
Okay, so.
Check your sheet.
My sheet.
Wisdom 9, so none.
Okay.
So just roll 2d6.
Okay, I got
Okay.
a 7.
All right. So, the effect is short-lived, lasting only a moment. It should be enough. So Emberlash, you part the flames like Moses parting the sea, creating a path through that Magnus could follow, and you give a little flick of burning onto his heel. Magnus, you, I assume, react to being burned, and you turn and you see Emberlash has cleared a path through the flames to the back door. It's quickly collapsing. You have to act now, or you'll be trapped.
I rush towards the path with all my might, screaming, "I will get you, Magus, if it's the last thing I ever do."
Yes. So Magnus runs through past Emberlash, and the two of you are able to get out the back door. Thorn, up on the roof, you see you have a a bird's eye view of the front of the tavern, where you see the man who you may I don't know, has Thorn encountered Magus before, or has he only heard of him?
Well, unless we've actually run into Magus before.
Well, I know Magnus has. Magnus and him are old enemies.
I would doubt that, given that this together, I would imagine.
Okay.
No, I have not,
Yes.
but I would have heard of him, obviously.
Yes. So you see this man in ornate black robes carrying a staff. He's a bald human with tattoos and gaunt features and a high collared black robe, and he's sitting on a nightmarish horse, black as midnight, with eyes which burn like embers, and bits of flame every time its hoofs collide with the ground, and he's surrounded by more cultists as they are surrounding the inn and seeing to its destruction.
Of course, if I can see him clearly,
Yes, he looks up and he
He
sees.
can probably see me clearly.
Yeah, he looks up and he sees your lion skulled face on the roof. And
Wonderful.
he gestures with some cultists who have hunting bows, and they take aim at you.
Okay,
And-
so first course of action there is to duck back and get that woman and that child, and encourage them to go down the back and do what I can to help them get down safely.
Okay, yeah.
And if that means I get down with them to help them get down safely, then I do that.
Mhm.
And then I'll worry about the madman.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
madman?
There are lots
Yes.
of them. Yeah. So I think we're gonna have to defy danger here with dexterity, to do it quickly. The danger here being that you moved out of the way of the archers, but they know you're coming out, so they're gonna send guys
Yeah,
around.
so they're probably still so they're going around when I try to go. I'm trying to help this lady here.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of if you can help her fast enough or not, because they're
Right.
trying to stick together. They know they can't
Well,
beat you guys
We got
individually.
a 9.
9. Okay, yeah. So you help them down, and they get down and they run off. And a couple of cultists come around the corner, and one of them says, "Forget the woman, grab the halfling." What do you do?
Okay, well then my initial oh, good luck, and shift into the form of a falcon and shoot up into the air.
That's a great move. Let's see if it works. Give me.
We're gonna see if it works. It may fail miserably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. Give me a wisdom roll.
I got a 9.
Okay, a 9. That's good. You get 2 hold. As a falcon, you get some moves like soar away, or dive bomb something, probably is the
Yeah,
way to
so like
play.
a dive attack makes sense.
Yeah. And other falcony things. But in this case, yeah. So you shapeshift into a falcon, and you spend one of your 2 hold to soar away. As you fly up, some of the cultists like twang arrows at you, but you're too small and too fast and Thorn is up and out of reach. Magnus, Emberlash, you come out the back of you come out the back of the inn. You see a woman carrying a baby, running like towards the woods, away from the tavern. You see a couple of cultists shooting bows at a falcon. And you heard Magus on the other side of the building. So what's Magnus doing? Is if I don't know.
Screaming and charging and trying to find Magus.
Okay. Magnus, you run around to the front of the building, and you see Magus there on that great black steed I described before, and a mess of cultists between you and him. And Magus says,
I charge into the fray. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Magus says, escaped again, I see, Magnus. Kill him.
Yes, but you won't.
That is yet to be seen. And a whole mass of cultists are coming to meet Magnus in open combat.
You will die in the name of the Emperor. For the Emperor. And I charge into the entire crowd of cultists between me and Magus.
Okay. We'll get back to you in just one moment. Emberlash. Magnus is charging what for a normal man would be too many enemies, but Magnus is not a normal man.
He's a psycho.
He's a psycho. Exactly.
But my question for Emberlash is, what does she do when she sees her companion doing this?
Thinks, shit, I gotta save his ass again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
You
gonna bend flame to my will
okay?
and shoot missiles at my enemy. At his enemies, really.
Okay. Shooting missiles is more of a thing with the Burning Brand move. That would be choosing the throne tag on Burning Brand.
So you got a hand weapon.
Yeah. So right now you have a hand weapon. You can dismiss the hand weapon and conjure a new one. The bending the flames move, that's more like moving fire around, but it like needs fuel for it to burn.
Well, I
yeah.
have the burning building that we just came from, so it's still on fire.
Oh yeah. You have fire available. I'm just saying you can't really like turn it into missiles with that move.
Okay.
But you could like spread the fire out onto the ground, or try and create a wall of flame or something.
Yeah, let's do that. Create a wall of flame from
Okay.
this burning building towards the enemy, so that they somewhat protect Magnus from, the horde.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like your objective here is to like keep Magnus from being surrounded by giving him some protective flames.
That's correct.
Okay, cool. I like that. Go ahead and give me your wisdom roll.
Okay, my roll. Okay, it's a 9. What?
So it's no modifier.
I need to know how to.
You can fix that.
Oops. And then is that a 2d?
2d6.
Okay.
Yep.
Woohoo!
All right, cool. So I'm gonna do something a little unusual. I'm going to treat this as if you were using the defend move through your manipulation of fire.
Okay.
So you gain three hold points that you can spend to do one of three things. You can half the effect or damage that Magnus receives. You can open up an attacker to Magnus, giving him a +1 bonus against them. Or you can deal damage to the someone attacking Magnus equal to your level, which is only 1 right now. So do you think you want to open up someone, like use the fire to like isolate some enemies for Magnus to dispatch more easily?
Yeah. Let's open up the fire at Magus
Mm-hmm.
so that Magnus will have the prime opportunity to attack him.
Oh wow. Okay, cool. So Magnus, here's what you see, Magnus. As you're charging these enemies, flames come shooting up from behind you, and they burn a path through the grass. And the cultists who were standing in your way leap to the side to avoid being burned. The grass is burnt up instantly, but the enemy have parted, and you have a clear line of attack on Magus himself, who is surprised by this, and you're gonna get +1 if you want to hack and slash him.
Magus grins wildly, still frothing at the mouth with rage, and charges towards him, raising his sword high.
Mm-hmm. All right. Roll plus strength.
All right. So you said a +1.
Good.
Mm-hmm. You get an additional +1 forward from Emberlash's move.
So 2d6 +2? Or +3?
You normally have a +2 strength, so this will be +3.
+3, okay.
Bingo.
Woohoo!
Okay, 10. Wow, you're nailing all these hack and slash rolls. So,
Yeah.
I assume that you're going to deal extra damage in exchange
Yes.
for taking a blow back?
Yes.
Okay. So,
So that's 1d10 plus 1d6 plus 1.
yes.
Okay. Jesus
Holy.
Christ.
He's dead.
You just crit him in the pants.
I don't need a fudge rolls. I just get these rolls.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. He has this many hit points, but he's got so he's just taken. Oh shoot, that's a lot. Okay. So Magus.
Break your story already.
So Magus, you come up and you stab your sword into his side. As your sword hits him, this purple barrier of dark magic gets between you and him, and your sword just overpowers it and shatters it as you get in, and you give him a serious bleeding wound in his side.
Oh my god.
His nightmare that which he rides on snorts flames at you and tramples over you in revenge, and you're gonna take a d6 plus 1 damage.
All right.
Okay, so the beast slams into you, but you're between your shield and armor, you're able to avoid the worst of it. And the nightmare is galloping away now with Magus clutching his side. Kill him, you fools! And now Magnus is completely surrounded by the cultists. What is Magnus?
By the Emperor's mercy, you will all be slain.
They let out a battle cry, and weapons and chains or spiked chains are all hurled at Magnus. What do you do?
Dodge.
All right. So as you're trying to defend yourself and not be completely not be killed here, you're trying to get out of the way. So you're gonna defy danger with dexterity.
All right. So what is that? What is a roll for that? 2d6 plus 1?
2d6 plus whatever your dexterity modifier is, which I think is a 1. Yes. Well, shit. Okay, that's an 11.
Matrix dodge?
Yeah. So, all these enemies are trying to hit Magnus, and you're just dodging and parrying and blocking with your shield. And they're surrounding you, but they can't get a real hit on you. Thorn, you're like up in the air above all this. You see Magus riding away on his nightmare at supernatural speeds. You see Magnus is surrounded and doing pretty well, but he's vastly outnumbered. Emberlash is trying to defend him with the flames, but it doesn't quite seem necessary just yet. But it probably will be. What's Thorn doing? Is
I've
Thorn
been
doing...
trying to contemplate what to do. Like, I kind of want to take a swoop down at Magus and claw at his eyes, but at the same point, I don't necessarily want to be cornered by him solo. If he's running away, let him run away. But they're all freaking surrounded by flame, and that is so not my jam. 'Cause, like,
yeah.
I mean, given background and everything, fire is not necessarily. I mean, yeah, we need it to cook food and for protection and heat and warmth and everything, but this is a little extreme for my taste. But if I can see that everybody's safe and they're down, then I'm going to.
Oh, they're definitely not safe yet.
Well, the woman and the child are safe.
Oh,
They've
yes, they're safe.
Magus is running off. So then, is there an area in woods or something nearby that, or is there someplace I could swoop down behind the? Yeah, I'm gonna come down behind this burning inn.
Okay.
And revert my form.
Okay.
And then come around and see if I can just get a good vantage on the situation and go from there.
Okay. Yeah. So, Thorn comes around. Your next Emberlash. Emberlash, you're still actively defending Magnus. Are you going to keep that up, or are you going to go on the offensive? Because you still got 2 hold left on this defend.
I think I'm just going to keep defending.
Okay.
Right now.
All right.
Support roll. Yeah.
So Magnus, you're dodging. You're dodging. You're avoiding. You're blocking. You're parrying. But the that's not going to bring that's not going to bring vengeance to these heretics. Justice. That's the word. That's not going to bring justice to these heretics. How are you going to do that?
Well, I slay them. I slay every last one of them.
All right. Well, we'll see about that. You're gonna have to roll for some hack and slash now.
All right. So that's 2d6 plus 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Could you maybe roll less than a 10?
No.
I am the strongest man.
Okay.
The strongest man.
Yeah. So okay, a 12.
Powers given to me by the God Emperor himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The God Emperor shines down upon me.
So you you can deal your damage to this horde, or you may choose to do the extra damage in exchange for exposing yourself to an attack. If you do that, as a player, you should know that Emberlash, one of the things she can spend hold for right now, which she has 2 left, is to half an attack's damage to you. So you can choose to expose yourself to an attack, and then Emberlash, if she chooses to play along, can half the incoming damage from that attack.
Well, at this point, I'm basically a berserker, so yes, I'm going to do that extra damage.
I knew you were going to. Yes. So yeah, do it.
So 1d10 plus 1d6 plus 2?
Plus 1.
Plus 1, okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing where the confusion is. You don't add your strength modifier to damage.
Okay.
The plus 1 is coming from a tag that's on your weapon.
Okay.
By
By the way, you told me to roll less than 10, so I rolled a 9 for you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So 9 damage. Let's see. I'm gonna say that the horde has that many hit points, and it's kind of diffuse. So that armor. So, all right. So, Magnus, you're going and you're through, and you are cleaving cultists down. You drop about half of the horde in a furious flurry of strikes. Blood flies through the night sky, the night air. And they're trying to get you. They have numbers on their sides. You're gonna roll. You're gonna take 2d6 damage.
Okay.
So roll that first. Okay. So you're gonna take 10 damage, but Emberlash, you're currently defending him with the flames. So if you want to spend a hold, you can half that.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Now, does my defense mean that does that subtract from the total? So would that mean I only take 3 damage?
Yes.
Actually, 2?
So yeah, because you have 3 armor, so the 10 gets halved from Emberlash, so that's 5, and then your armor takes off 3 of that. So
take 2
you lose 2 hit points. As they're trying to every time they try and get into position to hit Magnus, a flash of flame. A flash of flames comes up as Emberlash is carefully manipulating these the flames to create walls of fire, guiding Magnus into fighting individual opponents and protecting his flanks. And he only manages to get they only manage to get a couple of scratches on you.
Imagine if I just took 0 damage the entire encounter. Would you have been mad?
No, I wouldn't have been mad. Yeah.
would have been furious.
Would have been envious.
Yeah. So Thorn, this is what you see. Is Thorn going to do anything about that?
Probably not.
I'm kind of like, they seem like they're doing okay. And everything that I have the capability of doing, if I run in there and start to attack, then the cultists are just going to turn on me. And right now he's defended. Things seem okay. I'm going to stay nearby, but keep an eye on when it looks like, just kind of hold my action until it looks like Ember's going to have to drop the flame. When she does that, then I might go ahead and do something. But I don't see much right now that I could do that wouldn't cause more trouble.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Magnus, the horde is still coming at you. It's still got some determination left in its members. They haven't given up yet. You're gonna have to keep fighting.
That works for him.
Yep.
All right.
Go ahead and hack and slash again.
Hack and slash we go.
What?
Okay, a 7. So, at this point, you do your damage, just a D10 plus 1.
Okay.
And they get to deal their damage, 2d6.
Actually, I may have just had an idea.
2d10 plus 1.
1d10 plus 1.
Okay.
Okay. 8. Let's see. All right. And also you take 2d6.
Okay. And is this shielded at all?
If Emberlash chooses to spend hold, she can half this for you.
Okay.
And of course your armor applies. I don't know if the half
Is that the damage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the damage. You're gonna spend hold for that?
Yeah, I'll spend hold for that.
All right. So, so that's the last hold that you have. The your control of the flames wane, and the fire continues to burn in the yard and along the road. It is much more subdued now, but not until after you're able to get a few more walls of well-timed flame to protect Magnus.
So is that round up or round down?
I don't know, so I'm gonna say round up.
Okay.
So
Oh,
yeah,
4
so
damage?
yeah, so 9. Yeah, so you'll take 5 after the defense, which is then
Okay.
-3 for your armor. So you take another 2 hit points,
Okay.
and yeah,
More
The-
scratches.
more scratches, and you slaughter the rest of the cultists, and they lie dead. They lie dead before you, but Magus has disappeared into down the road on his nightmarish horse. Local farmers are beginning to arrive now to see what's going on.
One man army covered completely in blood and viscera, standing there screaming, cursing the name that is Magus.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely kind of hiding back at the moment.
Mhm. The first farmers that show up, they look in horror at the their inn and tavern is engulfed in flames, and they're keeping their distance from they see all these bodies outside, some of whom are no doubt their neighbors, and Thorn, you can definitely hear that some of them are, since you are the most wise, you definitely notice that some of them are pointing and whispering about Emberlash.
Yeah, this is not going to go well.
Mm-hmm. And and some of them are forming like bucket brigades to try and contain the flames, but the inn is a lost cause at this point. It's just making sure it doesn't spread into the fields.
I'm kind of torn between trying to talk to him but my, poor charisma and all that. But I'm kind of torn between trying to talk to him or running out there and telling him, "Run away! They're coming back!"
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Magnus,
Yeah, I'm completely at a loss. Just like I'm just watching, like
Just watched one man.
this. I'm just
slaughter.
like, I watched that. I was actually considering. I was like, if there were going to be some cultists left, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to shift into a rhino or an elephant
They're all dead.
and charge them. But you just slaughtered them.
I
So,
killed every last one
It's
of
like,
them.
okay, and now we've got this situation. I think I'm wondering if our best course might just be to get the hell out of Dodge. And
What?
so I think I'm just going to run up to the two of you. Hey, we got to go now. They're not going to be happy.
I turn to you completely covered in blood and organs hanging off my shoulders and saying, "Why? I'm only just getting started."
Facepalm. That's all I can do.
To me, the villagers are just more heretics to kill.
You're not killing these people. We got to chase down Magus. Are you going to let him get away?
Magus! My attention quickly shifts towards the distance that he's disappearing over,
Mm-hmm.
and I begin to run futilely towards him
Mm-hmm.
before falling to my knees.
Yeah. It doesn't take you very long. Like he's riding some sort of, supernatural magic horse.
Well, I'm probably also
Yeah.
just exhausted.
And you're probably exhausted from a hellish fight. And
killed so many people. How many people are we talking about? Tens, hundreds?
not hundreds. Maybe
And
maybe 24.
That's a lot.
Including the ones that were inside.
Oh my god.
So then I turned to Amber. Can you do anything to stop the fire, or just make more?
I like fire. Burn the villagers. Burn them alive.
She's kind of wanting to burn everybody. I hear I'm stuck between. I'm the only do-gooder stuck between two evil.
This character is perfect because he technically still fits his alignment because he's lawful towards his god.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's Magnus gonna do? He
Mhm.
chase it after Magus?
Mm-hmm.
That's his mission for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I'll take a little bit of a heavier hand here for a moment. So
That might be helpful.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so all of you are of intelligence enough to know that like chasing Magus in like an attempt to catch him tonight except for Thorn, who could turn into like a peregrine falcon or something, but then would have to face him alone. You all know that that's basically not going to work. But
Is there
Pursuing
is there
him- yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
But pursuing him back to wherever his base of operations are is something you definitely could set out to do. So, knowing that situations with the townsfolk are tense, and well, they might be too afraid of you to like do anything.
Is there a well, like directly? Is there a source of water
Yes.
directly near the inn?
Yes. Currently, they're using it to try and like form a bucket brigade.
Okay, then I am going to shift into an elephant.
Okay.
Suck up some water and start spraying it. Just in an attempt to help. Because I figure that's the best thing I can do.
I love it. Roll plus wisdom.
Alright. Yay! Success. 13.
All right. So you do this, and the villagers stand in awe of you as you turn into this this great beast, and you spray out water like a fire hose, and it rains down on the burning building and on the grass around it, and the fire begins to go down and it begins to settle a bit. The inn is still a lost cause, but it's down to just smoldering embers now. The large flames are contained. Their farmland is safe. The fire won't spread. And
right.
and they are in awe of you. And when
You just cut out for like 10 seconds. I don't know if that happened for anybody else.
oh damn it.
Yes, no? Did
No, I
No,
mean, I
it
heard
didn't
it.
cut out for us.
Okay, so it's just my end. That's unfortunate.
Okay. Yeah. But the inn is the fire is put out more or less. It's just smoldering now. And they stand in awe of the druid, and some of the villagers like, thank you when you shapeshift back. And yeah.
But I don't know how to take that. So I just kind of shrug and wave off like whatever. I'm just doing what I do.
So the three of you set out, and you follow Magus's trail for a while, but eventually it comes to where you're all exhausted from this, from the day before and this encounter, and eventually you set up to make camp. Before we leave, Magnus, would you like to dedicate yourself to a mission?
Yes. But I wonder, what mission could you possibly suggest? There's a lot of things you could go on and do.
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure I know which one you're.
Kill Magus.
Yes.
Kill Magus, burn his corpse.
Okay. So yeah, that would be the first option there. Slay blank. So slay Magus, a great blight on the land. You get to choose two of those boons there. I'm guessing you're probably going to choose an unwavering sense of direction to Magus.
Yes.
That makes sense. You have you can choose one of those additional boons.
All right, let's take a look at this.
Mm-hmm.
What are my options here? Slay Magus.
Mm-hmm.
Choose Boone on unwavering sense of direction to kill and burn him. What would be my invulnerability then?
You get to choose what your boons are. You
Invulnerability to cultist.
Invulnerability to cultists.
That's
I slaughter them like rats.
that's a little generic, because that would imply like you're immune to like anything they could do to you. But you could choose
alright.
like invulnerability to edged weapons.
Edged weapon, sure, because that'll cover the standard cultists.
Yeah.
and but still leave room for like special weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Bludgeoning weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were doing so little damage to me anyway, it kind of like sort of makes sense that I would just shrug off their damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now, I get to tell you what vow or vows are required of you to maintain your two blessings there.
Alright.
So let's see. My options are honor, temperance, piety, valor, truth, or hospitality. Well, I'm not going to choose valor because you basically already have that from your alignment. So I'm not.
So, one of the main like lines that a space marine in 40k would say is "Suffer not the Xeno to live."
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you
You've-
tell me if valor is needed.
Yeah. Well, it's already, it's already covered by your. Okay, I can choose multiple ones, so sure. Sure. We'll double dip on valor. But also, the Emperor of Man also demands that you follow the rules of that you engage these foes honorably. No cowardly tactics or tricks. You must face them. If you wish to maintain your invulnerability, you must face them directly and in the open.
Okay, so run this down completely with me. What are exactly my things? So, because I'm gonna write this down.
Okay. You have dedicated yourself to the mission to slay Magus.
Okay.
While you are on this mission, you have an unwavering sense of direction to him. You know where he is at all times, or at least the direction that he is in at all times. And you are invulnerable to edged weapons. So if someone swings an axe at you, nothing. You are granted divine protection. In order to maintain these benefits, you must fulfill the. You must act honorably. You are forbidden to use cowardly tactics and tricks, and you must act with valor. You are forbidden to suffer an evil creature to live.
You cut out suffer an evil.
Creature to live.
Gotcha.
You are forbidden to do that.
That's fine. Okay.
Yes.
I don't think I even need to write that down.
I know. That's why I said it was kind of double dipping with your alignment, but that's why I gave you two. But okay. Yeah. So we are so that's taken care of. What does it look like though to the audience? What do Thorn and Emberlash like see when Magnus is swearing this this oath of vengeance.
He'd be crazy.
Mhm.
No, I don't know. Love.
I'm asking I was asking Magus.
Oh,
Or
sorry.
Magnus.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like what are you doing when you're doing this ritual?
Oh, all right. So I actually there's a prayer for this. Hold on. The
Oh no.
Emperor's Prayer 40K. This will take a moment to find.
I might have to set you on fire.
Let's see. I'm going to attempt to read Latin now.
Okay.
A spiritu dominatus, domine libera nos. From the lighting and tempest, our emperor deliver us. From plague, temptation, and war, our emperor deliver us. From the scourge of the kraken, our emperor deliver us. From the blasphemy of the fallen, our emperor deliver us. From the begetting of demons, our emperor deliver us. From the curse of the mutant, our emperor delivers us. A morte perpetua domine libre nos, that thou wouldest bring them only death, that thou shouldest spare none, that thou shouldest pardon none. We beseech thee, destroy them all.
Cool.
So, and as I say this, I am kneeling and praying to my Aquila necklace that I'm clutching in my hand.
Excellent. Okay. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna begin the end of session move now. So, when you reach the end of the session, you may choose one of your bonds that you feel is resolved, completely explored, no longer relevant, or otherwise. And I'm not sure that really applies to anyone from this first session.
Not resolved yet.
Yeah, because we didn't get to have very much outside of the action sequence. So yeah, that doesn't really apply. So none of that. Once bonds have been updated, look at your alignment. If you fulfilled that alignment at least once this session, mark XP. So let's go down the list. Magnus, did you deny mercy to a criminal or unbeliever?
At least a couple.
All right. Well, you get one. You only get 1 XP for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I may have denied mercy to at least one cultist.
Yes. I will allow it. That's 1 XP
Okay.
for you. Thorn, did you help something or someone to grow?
Oh yeah, because I helped I helped
Mhm.
I helped a woman and a child continue to grow, preventing them from being consumed by flames.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that I might have to take it as a personal mission to try to help. I don't know. I don't know that there's much I can do to help Magnus grow,
Mm-hmm.
but Ember maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that will definitely be interesting to see how Thorn and Ember interact once we have like some opportunity for them to really do that. But yeah, I definitely think you fulfilled your alignment, so you're good. Emberlash, did you sacrifice an unwilling victim to the flames?
I don't know. I killed 2 people. Hitting them with my sword, and but
Mhm.
they were attacking me, so I don't know if that would be considered an unwilling victim. It's not like they were some random victim; they were attacking me, so I killed them.
Yes, you did. I think though that the difference here is that you defeated them with by like slashing their legs, but then you move the
Burn them.
yeah, you then burn them alive.
They're pretty much
Um,
almost dead. They're gonna die, but we're gonna consume the flame instead.
Yeah. So I think the act of moving the fire over them after after defeating them qualifies.
Yay.
So there you go. You get your evil XP.
Could that be evil?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So now we answer 3 questions as a group. And for every question that we answer with a yes, everyone gets an XP. So the first question, did we learn something new and important about the world? In this case, since this is the first session, the answer is always yes, because we learned about Magnus the Red, Thorn, and Emberlash.
And Magus.
And Magus. So we learned quite a lot of new and important things about the world. We learned who our main characters are. So everyone gets 1 XP for that. The second question: did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Yes. I mean, the horde of
I mean, he wasn't
people.
He wasn't killed, but he was definitely defeated.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. You met Magus in open combat, and you forced him to retreat and slaughtered his cult. You definitely overcame them. So that's another 1 XP for everyone. And the last question is, did we loot a memorable treasure? Which, admittedly, we did not this time.
Okay.
So, what is everyone's XP at now?
4, probably across the board.
Yeah, mine's at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because of I got 1 point earlier
Mm-hmm.
for doing, and
Right.
then-
Okay.
1 for the fail. I think the only one Magnus might have 5.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. You'll all reach level 2 when you get to 8 XP. So you'll probably level up next session.
Wow.
But yeah. So so that's the end of the session. That was Dungeon World. A pretty action heavy first session, but yeah. That was Dungeon World.
I dig it. That's fun.
that was fun.
Mm-hmm. So when do we want to play again? I think we were talking about doing this like every other week.
Sure.
All right.
Definitely works for me.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fun.
All right. So the same time on the 24th.
Same bat time, same bat.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. Literally, I was opening my mouth to say I hate you. Before we go, I would like yes. Before we depart, I would like to read one more Imperial hymn.
Very good.
Love the Emperor, for he is the salvation of mankind. Obey his words, for he will lead you into the light of the future. Heed his wisdom, for he will protect you from evil. Whisper his prayers with devotion, for they will save your soul. Honor his servants, for they speak in his voice. Tremble before his majesty, for we all walk in his immortal shadow.
Thank you for that, Magnus.
Blah.
Oh wait, were you saying something?
All right. So
What?
So yeah. Unless anyone has any sort of feedback for me or wants to ask any further questions or share opinions on what you've seen of the system so far, I'm open to.
Fantastic.
Cool. I'm glad you enjoyed
But yeah,
it.
I dig it. I kind of like the shift in focus and
Mm-hmm.
the
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I was a little worried that as like 3.5 Pathfinder people that you might kind of balk at the lack of simulation in the
You're
system.
obviously creative enough to get around that. So
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives a lot of flexibility, which I appreciate, especially from both, from the idea of running a game and from playing it. But I've also played in a couple of homebrew things. I don't know if I had mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite campaigns that we did was a friend of mine he had just put together a homebrew system, completely diceless.
Mm-hmm.
And the focus was on you had your certain amount of power and things like that you could use, but then it was all how you justified it, and it was just based more in realism than anything. And I don't know how he did everything on the back end, because we never saw that as players.
Mm-hmm.
But he had his mind wrapped around it, and it worked. We just all got together and essentially told stories the entire time, and that was great.
Yeah.
So I'm all for. At the end of the day, I don't care how the mechanics of it work or whatever. If we can just have fun, do our thing, then I'm good.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll pick up in 2 weeks with the hunt for Magus.
yes.
And and we'll undertake a perilous journey at least.
Magus.
Yeah, that's usually pronounced Magus. So I'm just like Magus,
Oh,
So,
Like-
so good.
like haggis. You know what I mean?
no.
Well, thank you so much. This was my first time, so this was great.
Oh, this was extremely fun.
I'm glad you all had fun. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and step out of the call. Thank you all for playing.
All
thank you.
right.
Thank you for running, and thanks for the invite.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Mr. Ponyman.
Okay.
Hasta lasagna.
Bye.
Bye.